Good day. Today's column is called In the Aftermath. With all the flooding problems that have come upon us this year in Manitoba, there will undoubtedly be some hand-wringing about what to do. Much of the flooding can be blamed on illegal on-farm drainage. Now, before farmers get too upset with that statement, just relax a bit and look at what's really happening. Land prices are going up, as they have almost always done. As land becomes more expensive, there is more incentive to drain land and get it into production. There's a business principle at work here. More land equals more grain, equals more dollars per owned acre. If a farmer drains his wetland, he gets more acres for the same taxes and capital investment in his land. Nobody can blame a farmer for draining land. Now, some get way too aggressive with draining land and with clearing trees for that matter. So what needs to be done? Farmers need to keep more water for longer on their land, plain and simple. But who is going to compensate them for retaining tens or hundreds or even thousands sometimes of acres of water? If the public benefits from the water storage and retention in ponds, lakes, and marshes, then the public needs to pay some compensation to farmers to do just that. Now, getting back to the illegal drainage part. Draining of land is not supposed to be done unless a farmer has a permit. Getting a permit, though, can take years. There aren't enough inspectors, nor will there ever be enough. So the whole system is really a farce. Instead, farmers should be paid compensation on an application basis to store water. Approving water retention works would be a lot easier than trying to regulate drainage. Now, for some local history on water retention structures. In 1971, I was assistant ag rep at Neepawa, working under Mr. Alan Nebbs. He was the ag rep. Now, Alan Nebbs and his predecessor, Wallace Lee, were both a big push for the formation of the White Mud Watershed Conservation District. It was the first in Manitoba. On the municipal side, and also instrumental in that push, were Dory Bjarnason, Reeve of the RM of Westburn, Doug Foreman, Reeve of the RM of Lansdowne, and Lloyd Breese, Reeve of the RM of Langford. Lloyd Breese was our current MLA, Stu Breese's father. Nebbs, in the late 60s or early 70s, compiled a list of potential stock watering dams, water retention ponds, basically, from Eden to Glenella to Woodside and Westburn, in response to the PFRA stock watering dam program. There were over 60 sites, if my memory serves me correctly, and every one was turned down as unsustainable or unsuitable. Why? I'm not sure, but I suspect it was a combination of a lack of money and a sense of bureaucratic territorialism. You see, Nebbs was a Manitoba civil servant, and of course PFRA is federal government. Had the whole of Western Canada followed Nebbs' visionary move, we would have had a lot less flooding. Now, one could ask how a province as broke as Manitoba is, and being $500 million in deficit every year, could ever afford this. There's a simple connection. Water retention is at least in part done in Manitoba to stabilize and extend the flow of water to feed our hydro dams. The province could step back from the incredibly stupid plan to build a west side bipole 3 hydro line at a cost of an extra $1.5 billion and use that money to set up the best possible flood protection and water retention system known to mankind. That would be too simple. It would never do to go back to the vision of an ag rep and 3 municipal reeves from the 1970s. That just makes too much sense. And another bit of Manitoba history. The White Mud River Watershed Conservation District, being the first in Manitoba, had its roots in the work of the government of Liberal Premier D.L. Campbell and Progressive Conservative Premiers Duff Roblin and Walter Weir of Minnedosa. The White Mud Watershed Conservation District was launched in 1972 under the new NDP government of Ed Schreier. 4 premiers and 3 parties all had a hand in it. Although years too long in the making, the White Mud Watershed Conservation District was and still is a good idea, no matter what party is involved. It was perhaps a bad omen for rural Manitoba. When the Watershed Conservation District inaugural celebration banquet was being held in Neepawa's Yellow's Head Centre. Guest speaker was NDP Cabinet Minister Len Evans, Minister of Mines and Natural Resources. Evans arrived late, spoke quickly, almost impatiently, from a short civil service prepared text, and took off for Winnipeg as fast as he could. Didn't even stay for supper. I remember him saying he had to leave early for another commitment. It was just like he didn't seem to get the significance of what was happening. It's always been tough for rural Manitoba to get the sustained attention of provincial politicians. Thank you.